Here's a video that I hoped we would never have to make. I'm going to talk about how Nina and I have managed to catch COVID, how we caught it, what it's been like, and generally sort of what it means for how you get by in Poland, or how we've been getting by now that we've caught it and have been suffering from it. Today's the first day in a few days that I've had the energy to get up and around and even pick up a camera again. Maybe this might be helpful. If anybody can learn anything from our experience, then this is worth doing. So firstly, how do we think that we got it? We must have contracted it sometime over the Christmas and New Year period. We were pretty good in that we didn't go out a tremendous amount during Christmas and New Year. We and when we did go out and we were in public places, we always wore our masks, and we've got good quality masks that have served us very well during the whole length of the pandemic. So the only times that we've been out and around people and not had our masks on is when we've been in restaurants and bars. And over the Christmas and New Year period, we were just in a handful, no more than 3 or 4. And I got to say, all the bars and restaurants that we were in were pretty good at social distancing. They were either very quiet just naturally, or they had distancing in the tables. Except for one place where it did get a bit busy, and I noticed that even though there were tables in that one place that were marked as people shouldn't sit there, when it got busy, they started sitting people at those tables. So we ended up in one place close to a couple of parties either side of us. And I suspect maybe that's where we got exposed to it. But you never know. And I don't know that there's a lot of sense in trying to guess where did I catch it. I have a feeling that it's the Omicron virus. This seems to be a much more transmissible version of COVID-19, with easier to catch COVID with a shorter exposure, or from somebody in the same room that's got it. Nina and I both were fully jabbed. Nina had 2 vaccinations, the second one being in September. So she hadn't had 6 months yet to get a third vaccination. I got my third vaccination, and all our vaccinations were Pfizer, coincidentally. I actually got mine in mid-December. So come the time between Christmas and New Year, it should have become fully effective. We're fully jabbed. We're taking all the precautions that we're supposed to be taking in the country. Anyway, it was a lousy start to 2022. The last video we posted was just before we started to feel sick. You notice we didn't even go out on New Year's Eve, but right on the start of New Year, what a way to start 2022. Pretty quickly, we both felt something was off. We'd already had colds at the end of last year. This didn't feel like another cold. It felt cold-like. Sore throat, generally just feeling kind of crappy, a little crappier than normal. Anyway, we kind of felt that something was off enough to go and do one of these self-COVID tests. From what I've seen in other countries, that there's millions of these tests around, but can be kind of hard to get at the moment. Everybody's scared of Omicron. We had no problem getting these tests easily here in Krakow. Cost I think 25 zloty each, something like that. And then sure enough, we did the tests and we both returned a positive result, which didn't surprise us because we kind of felt it. Next thing at that point was we have some medical insurance cover here, which I get through my employer. Nina has it privately, but it's the same cover that I have with the same company. They're called LuxMed. I think they're a very popular medical service provider here, and it's In Poland, it's kind of like a hybrid of private and public medicine. So LuxMed, you can see doctors, you can see many specialists. Their facilities are normally very nice, very clean. The doctors are usually pretty good. You can pick English-speaking doctors. By and large, I've been pretty happy with LuxMed. But if you require hospitalization or certain specialist treatments, they don't provide that. And in Poland, if you want that, even though you've got this like private medical cover, you have to get that from public health care. I had a little spell in hospital in 2021, and I had to go into a public hospital for that. So it's kind of this hybrid of private and public health, but they know what they're doing. You know, it seems to work. But the protocol is if you self-test and it's positive, then you make an appointment with a doctor. That was very easy to do. We went online on the LuxMed app, and in no time at all, which I think was really good, we had scheduled next day telephone consultation, actually with like an infectious disease doctor. So I thought that was really good. That was kind of put my mind at rest. It wasn't stressful to try and get the appointment. You could do it from home, and the appointment was set for like less than 24 hours after we've done the test with what looked like a specialist. So pretty good. So 24 hours later, by now, 24 hours later, we're feeling really crappy. And by crappy, you know, just literally energy level down to zero. When you're on your battery and the red light starts coming up that you're low power, kind of like that. Doctor recommended. It was a helpful doctor. Took some time, which was great. Actually, we had consecutive appointments. So I spoke to Nina, then he spoke to me. Said exactly the same thing because we were in exactly the same situation. Gave us recommended treatments that basically we already had. There's no magic medicine for this, and nothing special. Because we'd had cold or flu at the end of 2021, we had this stuff at home. I mean, it's basically like ibuprofen, some cough drops, some stuff to help you decongest, to take other kind of off-the-counter like paracetamol if you needed it for certain things. But it was all like regular medicine. There's nothing that you can go to the pharmacy and get that's specialist or different from what we were told. If you've heard of something different or you've been prescribed something different and had a different experience, please leave a note. I'd be interested to find out what your experience was. But ours was just kind of take the stuff you've got, which is kind of good anyway, because now you got to self-isolate. So there is an exception, I think, to go out to get your medication or to go see a doctor. But thankfully, we pretty much had what we needed. Then need to understand the self-isolation rules, which you can, in Poland, you can get on site and you can get them in English. From my understanding of it, it's basically sounds like a 13-day self-isolation from the day that you test yourself and it's positive, or 10 days from when you kind of it all seems to clear up and you're not suffering the symptoms again. And kind of basically from what we've experienced, that is actually kind of the same thing. So I think we're looking at from this date probably another 10 days, this being day one. So a period of self-isolation. And I'll come back to that. So what was it like to suffer it? As I say, I think it's Omicron we get. Now, the statistics and the numbers in Poland say that Omicron isn't rampant here like it is in some other countries. But, you know, given that we weren't out very much, and I think exposure would have been, you know, limited to somebody in a restaurant that was kind of socially distanced, and that we hadn't picked up, you know, we were fully vaccinated. With all the restaurants we've been to, you've seen all the videos we've done, never had a problem. And then over Christmas, suddenly we get this problem. My suspicion is it'll be Omicron, not Delta. And now I feel better today. That also makes me think this has been Omicron and not Delta. But I don't know. The test doesn't tell you what it is. I should have mentioned that the doctor we spoke to did offer us the opportunity to take a PCR test. He didn't insist that we take a PCR test. He said, if you want to take a PCR test. We decided not to because, quite frankly, we didn't know what it was going to do. Tell us. We already suspected that we had COVID. The test confirmed that we had COVID. I don't know what a PCR test would have told us or how it would have helped us. And we would have just had to drag ourselves out to go and do it somewhere. By this time, we weren't really feeling like doing that. So we didn't get a PCR test. And that's interesting because it means our numbers aren't included in the official numbers, I think, because we just did the at-home test. It didn't go to any lab or anything like that. So if there's a lot of people doing these at-home tests, I'm not quite sure how those numbers are getting reflected anywhere, which makes the Omicron numbers are probably bigger, quite a lot bigger than are even getting reported. But sort of, second day into this just felt awful, like really awful. It's a miserable experience. There's no sugarcoating it. I think Nina had it to a little lesser degree than me at first, but hers seems to have sort of, gone and come back type of thing, where I basically had 3 days. I was just wiped out, completely wiped out, in a way that I've never remembered being so wiped out. By wiped out means just like on the bed. Even the sort of basic things were like an effort to do. You just wanted to kind of curl up in a ball. And like one of those days, I was like kind of out of it. So 3 like rough days, and at the same time, you got sore throat, you're coughing, your nose is all clogged up. You begin to feel it on your chest a bit, and that was just feeling kind of pretty lousy. It's not a fun thing, but I didn't feel panicked. I took a lot of comfort from the fact that I've had the 3 vaccinations, and from everything I've read, they're saying that makes the impact of infection milder, and Omicron is supposed to be milder. So I wasn't really alarmed or panicked, even though I felt absolutely rotten. I felt that it would probably be like 3 or 4 day thing, and that's what happened. That's what it proved to be. That was it, like 3 or 4 really miserable days. I was meant to be back at work this week. Couldn't get back to work. The doctor signed me off for this week. But today, a big improvement from yesterday. I would say much of my energy is back. Things are much clearer. Still a little bit of like it feels like a little sort of hangover from it, but feels like it's behind me now. And if that's what it was, then I'll be very, very grateful and thankful that that's all it was, and that you could shake it off after a few days. I'm not sure that we have shaken it off. Maybe it comes back. I don't know. But definitely today, vast improvement on the days before. And Nina and I kind of gone through this like very similar step by step. So back on the right track now. So I've got to be self-isolated because we weren't expecting to be isolating, our supplies of food and everything at home began to run pretty low. So today, all of last year, you've seen all of the restaurant and bar reviews that we've done. I was very proud that I never once ordered a home delivery. Every time we wanted to get something, we either went to the shop or we went to a local restaurant, supporting the local businesses, filming the local businesses, as you've seen. And we never did one delivery, even though we see the guys on their bikes all the time, riding around here delivering food. And every time you go to a restaurant, they're there picking up food. We'd never been tempted to do it. Well, I don't have a choice now. We're going to self-isolate. We can't go out. So if we want to get foodstuffs, thank God for these apps and these guys on their bikes delivering stuff. It's a lifeline. And you don't have to have contact. You can chicken option and they leave it at the door. So last night we were able to order some burgers from our favorite burger place that I talked about. It's called Burger Bar in Plasnovi, which they have amazing burgers. So I used an app last night, and today I used a very similar app called Glovo. But Glovo today, because they had a better range of like going to grocery shopping and getting some shopping, and that was pretty good as well. From placing an order online to bags of groceries getting delivered at the door, like a 45-minute process. Thank heavens we have that. That makes a big difference. So, and then Auchan, our big hypermarket, does home delivery. So I went on there this morning, went through. Of course, you can get everything there because they've got everything. Only problem with that is today's Thursday. They wouldn't make that delivery till Monday. So great idea and concept, but I guess everybody's sort of jumping on that at the moment. So there's a 3 to 4 wait for delivery. I went ahead and processed that anyway because we got 10 days to isolate. So even in 3 days or 4 days for that delivery, it's still worth it. And that will see us through till the end. If everything goes well, hopefully that'll see us through the end of the isolation period. So I also made another order on Glovo today. Took a little bit of film of that, which I'll add here. It went pretty well, apart from a couple of missteps on my behalf. Ended up with some instant coffee, which I didn't order. I don't know how that happened. And then I like this soft cheese, and I picked the one flavor I cannot stand. Somehow I picked that flavor. But anyway, got some groceries from there. So getting this stuff to home, we're going to survive. Cats are going to survive, get what they need. We're feeling better. Won't be making any videos out and around in Krakow. My apologies that we won't be bringing you events in Krakow for the next 10 days at least. If there's anything to share with you about this experience of going through COVID and isolation, self-isolation, I will share online. I'll share with a vlog if there's anything to report. Otherwise, if you don't hear from us, all is good. Please, if you've got any comments or experiences that you want to share, or if something that I've said doesn't seem correct, drop a message below. Similarly, you got any questions, please, again, just drop a line. But that's it. That's what's going on with us, and that's 2022 so far. Thanks, and see you next time. So, first time I've used Glovo to get shopping delivery. It took maybe 30, 40 minutes from ordering it to getting it delivered. And I won't show you all the contents because, when you're at home and you've been sick, you like to treat yourself to all the stuff you shouldn't have. That's 4 bags full of all the stuff we shouldn't have. No, I don't remember ordering that. That's weird. Oh no, the one flavor I don't like. Pickle. Pickle. I forgot to add another lifesaver. Ed Red, thank you again. If you look back in our 2021 videos, we did a feature on a restaurant a few doors down from us here in Krakow called Ed Red, who during the pandemic have been producing their gourmet meals in tin cans. And we did a video where we went and bought a whole bunch of these different tin cans, different recipes like beef stroganoff, barbecue pork, bolognese, beef bourguignon, chili con carne. They've got chicken dishes, and you just open the tins, heat up the food for 10 minutes. You heat up this food, and you've got gourmet food, like really good restaurant quality food to eat at home. And you can eat it with rice, potato, pasta, whatever you like. But when we felt so rotten for a few days, we never lost our appetites. I know with COVID you can lose your appetite sometimes. We didn't lose our appetites, which was a good sign. So we kind of knew we were going to shake it off. And if you've seen our videos, you know we have healthy appetites. But thank goodness that we had these tins of Ed Red at home because we'd bought boxes of this stuff. And feeling so crappy, but just enough energy to go heat up this food. And eating then great food. You're eating like a great quality restaurant meal with minimal preparation. And so appreciative of that when we felt so bad. It was perfect. So if you haven't done so and you haven't seen this video before, I really recommend checking it out. Krakow should be very proud of these guys because they've got a great concept and the food they make is amazing. There's a famous YouTube vlogger, I think he's called Mathieu J or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's done a feature on them. He loves them. So hundreds of thousands of people have watched that. They know about these guys. We've done a feature on them, but highly recommend that you buy some of these tins of their meals and keep them in your kitchen ready for if you have a problem like this, because it's wonderful to be able to have great food that you can just heat up anytime. And being tinned, of course, lasts for years. So Ed Red, once again, thank you. I should have mentioned as I was describing our symptoms as well about fever. As I was watching back what I'd recorded, I hadn't talked about fever. Fever was an unpleasant part of it, especially during the night. You got your blanket on, you feel like you're burning up and sweating. Take your blanket off and then you get freezing. And your night is disrupted because you're hot and cold and hot and cold, hot and cold. So that happened for a couple of nights. Sleep patterns all messed up. Lack of sleep during the night time. Lots of sleep during the daytime, which then means you're not going to sleep at night because you've been sleeping during the day. Even today still a little bit tired. Had some sleep. Probably won't sleep fantastically well tonight, but the fever seems to have gone, thankfully. But just, yeah, I should have mentioned that. That's another kind of element of this, or symptom, or consequence, I should say. Anyway, that was it. Just wanted to add that.